I'm just adjusting my camera a little bit, trying to make it where I can see comments and show you all the cool stuff. Today is class day. I'm just waiting for a couple of people to pop on. You know, this will be available. If you don't do it now, you can do it later. No problemo. So I'm just going to remind you of what we're going to do today. This is the paper packet and sticker sheet, 4 Seasons Autumn. And it is in the core catalog. And in the core catalog, there's one of these for each season. And it comes with a sticker sheet. And if you look at the sticker sheets for each season, they're all the same sort of cuts. So there's a few 12 by 12 borders, there's some flags, there's a few what could be scrapbook or card titles, there's a few little I don't know, tabs, and a whole bunch of little messages at the bottom. And we use almost all of these in our class today. Let me move this out of the way a minute. I need a space. I have all this space now, and I don't know where to put everything. It's crazy. Okay, so I'm going to organize my paper, and I want you to do the same thing. And while you're getting organized, I'll show you the pages one more time of what we're going to make. Hi, Heather. Hi, Stephanie. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make, this side is orange, this side is wood, and I'm just going to set them out just like this. One side is stripe, one side is the plaid, and then one side is a houndstooth, and the other side is that all over leafy print. So if you set them out like this, we can put them in the order of what we're going to use, right? So I'm just going to set those aside just for a minute. The very last thing we're going to do is use a sticker sheet. So you can set that aside for now. And then you should have a pack of cardstock. Now the cardstock coordinates with the colors of this kit. Put this aside. So you have mocha, shortbread, Sundance, nectarine, toffee, and paprika. So you can see the kit as a whole, everything kind of coordinates. Wow, that looks really red on my screen. It is not, it's sort of a brown. It's sort of a brownish orange. Yeah, that's really weird. Anyway, I'm gonna put these down just for a moment, and then I'm gonna show you what we're gonna make. Now, what I want you to do, each of these pages or projects is gonna be a pile. So you need a table, or if you're like me, I have dining room chairs all behind me, and I put one project on each chair. So this is project number 1. It is a 12 by 12 page, and the base of this page is that beautiful wood grain. So if you want to take the wood grain paper out of your stack and put that under number 1, that will be the base for number 1. And then we'll make the cuts in just a minute, but I just wanted to show you how pretty this is. The other thing I wanted to show you is, you know, you'll see that I've used shimmer trim on pretty much every page. That's why I included in your kit a roll of the melon shimmer trim. Now, the interesting thing about the melon shimmer trim is that it almost looks like rose gold. It's really pretty. It's not a light peachy color. Papaya shimmer trim is the color I thought melon was going to be. Isn't that weird? It's kind of a peachy. If you wanted to match your melon dots exactly, you would buy papaya. So anyway, but I love this. This is gorgeous. Look, my nails even match it. Isn't that interesting? Okay, and the other thing that you should have, I can't remember exactly what I put in everybody's kit, but I think I put a few dots in there in case we want to use that. That'll be used near the end. And of course, stickles. Everyone bought either a platinum or a goldenrod or, you know, a color of stickles or pearls that coordinates. Okay, so this will be project number 1. I'm just going to set it aside for a moment. Project number 2 is the other 12 by 12 page. The base of this is toffee. So if you want to grab your toffee cardstock out of your pile and put that under number 2, that will be the base for that. And what we'll do is we'll cut all the pieces down, and then we'll go through one page at a time, stick everything down, and then at the very end we'll do these really fun kind of border or, you know, decorations. That way you can decide what you want to do with what you have left and more shimmer trim. Number 3 is the 8.5 by 11 sheet that looks like this. Now, I used a circle punch to make those dots. If you have a circle punch, you have time to run and get it or whatever, or you could just leave that off. I thought it would be really cute to use like pumpkins or pumpkin stickers or, you know, icons of some kind right there to use instead. So the idea behind this was, you know, all of these pages in a whole make a sort of summary of fall. And so each page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, you could write, you know, one pumpkin patch and your little journaling or, you know, whatever. You can use that for anything you want. Okay, so that's number 3. Number 4 is the back side of that. It's a separate page altogether, but you could, if you really wanted to get some mileage out of this, you could flip it over and use the back and use an extra page protector and just scrapbook on front and back. So that's number 4. Nothing to set aside in the piles yet. Number 5 is this cute little 6 by 6. Now let's say you don't want the 6 by 6. Just don't make this, or make this into a card front, or put this onto a 12 by 12 page. I mean, make it into a page. So that's number 5. Number 6 is this one right here. So cute. So the idea behind each of these projects is that I just wanted to show you some techniques and show you how all these coordinate with the leftover parts. So you'll need a pile for scraps. We are going to make some of the cards that slide into the pockets. And these can be used for photos or journaling, or you can just make a bunch more, because we do have enough scrap left over even after all of this to even make more. I can't believe these page kits. These are what I made with scraps. This is what we're gonna cut down when it's all done. I was gonna include that in the kit, but I decided I'm gonna just show you, take the scraps that we have left to make these. Okay, I'm gonna set that aside. So what's really nice about these kits, it doesn't look like very much paper in general, but it's enough, and it's enough to do something really cool with it and not have tons and stuff to store later, which I appreciate. Okay, I want to have a little drawing before we get started. I know I feel like this is already long enough. This is probably going to take me over 2 hours to finish as it is, but one of the things that is in this new catalog on page 46 is this embossing folder with stencils down here. It looks like not much, but it is super cool, and I'm going to show it in a couple of weeks. And I wanted you to have the opportunity, since you took my class and you took a risk, because I didn't show you what we were going to make when I had you sign up for the class. And so I appreciate that a lot, because I don't always have my act together enough to put everything together before I plan a date. So it's an embossing folder, and it's holiday themed, so you can see there's leaves and berries and holly on it. And then there are stencils that overlay onto your paper when you're done, so that you can ink over the stencil and color in the embossed images. And this is a super, super cool new thing. And I think, you know, a lot of companies are starting to have stencils with overlays for coloring and that kind of thing. This is a really neat idea, so I'm so glad Close to My Heart is jumping on board with that. So we're gonna have a drawing for this. What was the cost? It's a $10, $9.95 for that. Just need to keep setting my stuff aside here. Okay, I put everybody's name into my Mickey mug, and I have been stirring them around. It's so much fun, Heather, and I can't wait to play with it. And you know, okay, I got a name. Stephanie. Stephanie wins the embossing folder today. I'm gonna put her name on there so I don't forget to mail it to her. And let me set those aside. Okay. All right, so we're going to put these in a particular order so that it makes it a little easier to cut. We're going to start with, you're welcome. We're going to start with the leaf print, so pull that out and put it upside down. And then this wood orange print, we're going to cut it on the wood side, on the orange side, so put it upside down. And then we're going to do the plaid print, put it upside down. And then we're going to do a sunflower sheet, then a mocha sheet, then a toffee sheet, and then we need another leaves print. So that one that has the houndstooth on one side, we're gonna cut the leaves on it, and then we're gonna do an orange cardstock and a paprika cardstock. The rest of these we may use for something else, but for right now, these will go into our scrap pile. Okay, so set those aside into a scrap pile. I'm making my scrap pile so that it'll be easy to get to. So I normally use my giant guillotine style trimmer, but today I'm going to use this trimmer because I'm slower at this one, and I thought that way people would be able to keep up with me a little better. I'm real fast at my big chopper. So the first thing we're going to do here on this leaves print is cut off the zip strip. The zip strip is that there. And you can pick, sometimes it's easier to trim that on one side more than the other. Depending, sometimes it's easier to see on one side or the other. We will be using a lot of the zip strips, so I just want you to set them aside in a pile because we'll be grabbing for those as we create. This print doesn't have an up or a down or whatever, so basically what we're going to do is we're going to cut two 5 by 11. So let's cut this at the 11-inch mark. And this piece goes into our scrap. We'll be using a lot of our scraps for various things. So don't throw them away or put them somewhere where you can't get to them quickly. All right, so this one, we're gonna cut this at 5. It's at 5. So now this 5 by 11 piece right here goes into project number 2. Project number 2 is 5 by 11. And then we're gonna cut another 5-inch piece. This piece that we cut off here goes into our scraps, okay? And this 5 by 11, we're gonna make one more cut on it. We're gonna turn it and we're gonna cut 1 inch off of the side, right? So it'll be 5 by 10 and then a 1 by 5. So this goes in project number 1. And this goes in project number 1. Everybody with me? All right. The next piece we're gonna cut, the back of it is that gorgeous wood print, and the piece we're gonna use is this orange leaf print. I gotta tell you, it was really, really hard to cover up that really rich wood print. Oh, it's so pretty. First, we're gonna cut our zip strip off. And the zip strip we're putting into our zip strip pile. And then we're gonna use the orange side. And we're basically doing the exact same cut as number 1. So we're gonna cut it at 11. And then this piece goes into our scraps. We're gonna turn it then, and then we're gonna cut it at 5. So we should have a 5 by 11. It's essentially the same thing as we did before. So this goes on project number 2. And then this we cut at 5. This goes into our scraps, this 1 by 11. And then this turns, and we're gonna cut it at 10. So we're gonna end up with a 5 by 10, and I should have a 1-inch piece, and a 1 by 5. I don't know what I just did. I think I didn't cut the bottom. All right, so we have a 1 by 5, a 5 by 10. Those both go in project number 1. And then this is a scrap. Okay. Right, and then we go to our plaid paper. And we need to cut our zip strip off. Here's a great example where if you cut it here, it may be a little harder to see exactly where that edge is since the print has some white in it. Where if you flip it over, you can really see that hard edge of the zip strip. And we're gonna put our zip in our zip pile. And our plaid, we are going to cut at 6 inches. The 6 by 12, turn, and we're going to cut 1 inch off the edge. So we're going to cut it at 11. Here's what you should have. This is a 6 by 11. It goes in project number 3. Number 3. And then this little 1 inch piece that we chopped off, we're going to cut it in half. So cut it at 3 inches. And one of them will go in project number 3, and one of them will go in project number 1. Okay, so we have this 6 by 12 that we cut off the side. We're going to cut that at 3.5. This piece that we cut off is a scrap. It goes in the scrap pile. And this 3.5 by 12 is going to get turned, and then we're going to cut it at 10. So you're going to end up with a 3.5 by 10 piece and a scrap. This goes in the scrap pile. And the 3.5 by 10 goes into project number 4. How's everybody doing? If you're just watching along, no biggie. I'm trying to go slower than I normally go. I'll stop and take a drink and goof off a little. Okay. Now I want you to know the next piece is Sundance. All the cardstock has 2 sides. It has a light side and a dark side. The dark side is the actual color. And on mine, I used the light side on almost all of the projects except for this one. I don't know why I flipped it. It doesn't really matter when you make the cuts. You need the size of paper, and you can use whichever side. That's so funny, Heather. It's so funny. Okay, so on this sunflower piece, we have several cuts to make because they're mostly photo mats. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut at 4.5. And then we're going to turn that piece. Look at that. Oh my gosh, it looks like I have huge bruises or something. Weird, weird, weird. I have a few bruises, but not bad. Jeez. Okay, 4.5 and 4.5. So this 4.5 by 4.5 is the photo mat I just showed you that goes on project number 5. Actually, I think I told you that was number 6, but we'll put it in number 5 pile. Okay, now we have all these kind of scraps that we had cut off, and we're going to take this piece that came off of the 4.5 by 4.5. This is a scrap. Put it in your scrap pile. This bigger piece we're going to cut at 5. And turn it and then cut it at 7 because we're going to make a 5 by 7 photo mat. Okay, so this 5 by 7 photo mat goes in project 3, number 3. And then we have a couple of little pieces that we're going to cut out of here. This piece right here should be about 2.5 or close to it, 2.25, 2.5. And what we're going to do, it's not that exact, but basically you're going to cut one at 4 inches and cut another one at about 4.5 inches. And what we're gonna do, these two pieces right here are scraps, these little pieces. So put those in your scrap pile for now. We'll be using some of that later. So what we're gonna do is, on the first page, let me get that out. Okay. On the first and second pages, we have two things that we're going to use this for. One of them is going to be this behind everything. It's dovetailed. So I'm showing you this because I want you can decide which color you want to use, like the lighter side or the darker side. And I would use the shorter one. And then basically we're going to go ahead and just make a cut in and cut to the center and cut to the center. And then we have that piece all ready, and this will go into number 1. And then on project number 2, what I didn't show you at the beginning is we're making a little pocket where this will slide in, and it'll be like hidden journaling. And so that's what this is for. So if you want to use it, you can. If you don't, you don't have to. That's funny, Heather, that you say you love the banner accents. So go ahead and put this in number 2. I am flashing on you telling me that these stickers are not your style. That's funny. I used almost all of them up, and I don't know that they were my style either, but I loved using them. Okay, we're almost halfway done. Mocha brown. This is just going to be an 8.5 by 11, so you can cut this down to an 8.5 by 11. And this is our base page for project number 3. So you can put that in number 3. And then these are scraps that we can use later for other parts. Okay, the toffee, same situation. I got powder or something on there. This is just going to be cut down to 8.5 by 11. So when I cut my paper down to 8.5 by 11, I always cut the 8.5 first because I like to have the bigger chunk, the full 12 inches. Does that make sense? Otherwise, I would end up with a 1 inch wide 12 inch strip, you know, and then this one would be a partial piece. And so I always cut the bigger hunk off first. Anyway, these are scraps, and you can put those in the pile. And then this is the base page for project number 4. All right, 3 more. We'll have other cuts in a bit. We're going to cut down this leaf print. You know, again, this houndstooth print is gorgeous, and I had trouble not using it. So I am using a little bit of both of this paper. I'll use the front and the back a little bit. So let's cut that zip strip off, and we'll put that zip strip in our zip pile. If you don't cut your zip strips perfectly, it is not the end of the world because they're easy to trim when you use them the way I do. I don't always use them as a big thing across the whole page. I cut them up and use them as parts and pieces, so it works out. Okay, the first thing we're going to cut is a 6x6. So let's cut a 6-inch, cut it in half, and then we're going to turn that and cut it at 6 inches. So we have a 6x6 page. Now I made the page split in two. So what you need to do is put it in your trimmer and line up this point with your guide and line up this point with your guide. And when you do that, I hope that makes sense. This point is lined up and this point, and then you just hold it down and cut. And what you'll end up with is two triangles. So you cut that 6x6 in half. And both of them are going to go to project 5. We're just going to use them like this. Okay? So put that in number 5. Okay. This 6x6 is scrap. You can put that in your scrap pile. And then we have this piece, which we are going to cut down to 3.5 by 11. So I'm going to cut this at 3.5. The reason I don't cut the 11 first is anytime I can salvage a 12-inch piece, I do. I like having, you know, if I'm going to make another scrapbook page or whatever I'm going to do with this is a scrap. So I would rather have this full piece than a partial piece. So 3.5, and then we're gonna flip and turn, and we're gonna cut this to 11. Okay, and then this little piece is a scrap, and this 3.5 by 11 goes into pile number 4. 2 more, and it's mostly photo mats that we have left. So we have the nectarine or orange cardstock. I'm sorry about all the weird shadows in here. I have a feeling that this lighting in this room is super. I'm so impressed with it, but it is, I don't know, it has shadows because of the way the canned lights are. I don't know. This piece we're going to cut to 6 1/4 by 4 1/4. We're going to make some 6 1/4 photo mats. So that is 6 1/4. And then you're just going to turn it and cut it at 4 1/4 and 4 1/4. Now I do this by cutting it to 8.5 first. And then I just slide it down and cut it to 4 1/4. And then I have my 2 photo mats. 6 1/4 by 4 1/4. You should have 2 of them. And these go in project number 4. Pile 4. These are all scraps that we can use later. And our last cutting piece that we're going to do right now is this paprika color. Now I played around with this with the shortbread and I liked how it looked too, but this was my favorite. It seemed to be the most striking. So this piece we're going to cut 6x6. So cut it at the 6-inch mark, and then we are cutting this in half. 6x6 and 6x6. And what this gives us is the 2 bases for those 6x6 pages. So one will go into project 5 and one will be for number 6. This piece we're cutting into 3 4x4 pieces. So I cut it at 4 inches. And then what I do is I just go to 8 and then I slide it down to 4. And I have 3 4-inch pieces. Those all go into number 1. Now we have, I have a couple other cuts that I want to make. This piece right here is a scrap. If you go into your scraps, I have I added a couple of things at the very, kind of at the very end. And so I want you to grab your second sheet of paprika cardstock. That's that kind of golden brown that looks red on screen. I don't know why it does, but we're gonna cut a couple of other things. Let's see. We're gonna cut this at 4 inches. We need one more 4 by 4, like that. Okay. So put that in project number 1. That'll be the 4th photo mat for that page. And then that's all the cutting for project number 1. And then the other thing that we need to cut still is this piece right here is in shortbread, and it is going to end up being photo mats. Now, you can pick what color you want it to be. So here's the 2 pages. They are not going to be, in my book, directly side by side. So I made 1 page shortbread and 1 page paprika. And instead of cutting this one 4, 4, 4, 4, like this one is, like I could have just cut this 8 by 8, but I didn't want to use the cardstock that way. So this piece right here is an 8 by 8. And so you can pick which color you want to use. I'm going to use shortbread. You'll have to go into your scrap pile and grab shortbread. Shortbread is the super pale brown. And you're just going to cut that 8 by 8. 8 inches, turn it, 8 inches. These 2 go back into your scrap. We will be using some of this on layouts 3 and 6, just little bits of it. So I didn't want to cut that all ahead. So this goes into number 2. All right. Woohoo! Now keep your trimmer handy. I'm done with the big sheets, so I'm just gonna close mine and have it nearby. But I definitely want to get started putting our pages together. So if you want to grab your pieces for layout number 1, this is what we're doing. So first thing, let's cut our zip strip off. Again, this one is easier to cut on the wood side. And then we'll put your zip strip in a pile. Now, it feels wrong, I know, to cover this up so much, but I tried to use the mocha cardstock as the background, and I just didn't like it as well. This looked so rich, and it really did add to the page. So here we go. So the first thing we're gonna do, I just want to make sure you have all the pieces. You'll have an orange piece here, and a leaf piece here, like that. Okay, and you don't want to put them down quite yet. Then we will have, what I did was I scooched it over an inch and I put the houndstooth here. And then I scooched this over and I put this, I was going to put it like this, and I was like, well, that's dumb. So you can just put that right onto there like that. So this is how these pieces go on. We'll start there. Now, when you're looking at like placement for all of your pieces and like top and bottom, these are 11 inches, and so they're an inch from the top. And one way you can do that is you can just lay a ruler, like this ruler is a quilting ruler, okay? And then I just lay it on there like this. And that way I know it's 1 inch from the top and it's exactly on the edge like that. And then this piece will just go next to it. I'm not so precise that I use a ruler for everything, but I know that some people are and really want it to be exact. So you can do the same thing. You can just put that, this is a 2-inch quilting ruler, so I put that line at the 1 inch mark and I just lay it down like that. And that way, you know, you have this like perfect border here and here. And then these pieces, I should have just had you leave this 11 inches. I don't know why I didn't. But we're going to go ahead and apply the orange. Exactly under the other. So there's that, and there's that. And know that this will be covered by our photo mats. So the photo mats, now's the time to decide if you want the light side or the dark side. And they're going to go like this. I like the dark side myself. I think it's very stunning. And we're going to center this on here. So it's another inch in basically, because this is 12, 11, and 10, basically 2 inches from the edge. So I could just put my whole ruler down 2 inches from the edge, and that's where my photo mats will go. If you're not ready to put your photo mats down, you could just tack them on. Like if you might want to do something else later, you could just tack those in place. But you are going to need to put them in. And on the original, so that little dovetail and these little flags down here that we're going to put on, these go under the photo mats. So what I'm recommending is go ahead and put your 2 photo mats on to the right side, and these go right up to the edge, just like that. Just like that. And then when you do these, don't put adhesive all the way to the edge. So we're gonna put these down like this, but leave a little space so you can slide stuff under. And that will go there. And that will go there. So then you can kind of see, you can slide things underneath. Okay, now we have our little flag tab, and that is going to go here, just like that. And you can go ahead and put it on. And I put it about, an inch to an inch and a half under the top photo mat. So that means we're about 4.25, 4.5 inches down the page. Okay, it just needs to look pleasing. It's not like a precise exact thing. This little piece that we have in our pile, we're going to dovetail the ends of that as well, like this. Okay, cut down the center and then make a little thing. And it is also going to tuck and you're gonna have it tucked under the second photo mat, and I'm just gonna leave a little bit, something like that. The rest of the pieces we will do when we decorate the whole thing, because it's easier to do all the shimmer trim at once, all the stickers at once. It's just easier. You're just gonna have to trust me on that. So there's page 1. We've got the base built. Grab page 2 and all your pieces. Page 2 looks like this. So it's essentially the same put together, only even a little quicker. So we have a couple of these, and we are going to use the houndstooth side. I told you I had trouble with covering up the wood side, so why didn't I cut this wood piece down? That's weird. Okay, I need to trim this down. This should be 5 by 11, okay? So I just need to cut an inch off. I don't know why I didn't cut that. Beats me. Okay, better. So we have, I'm missing a piece. Hold on a second. I'm looking. I probably put it in my scrap pile. I probably told you to put it in your scrap pile too. I'm looking in my scraps. Okay. For that, so here's the way this one works. It goes like this, and then the orange goes here. Ah, now I remember. Okay. Cut an inch off of this one as well. Duh. I don't know what my problem is here. So what we're gonna end up with is 2 pieces that are 5 by 10, and then the little 1-inch pieces are going to make up our other little color here. Sorry, it's been a little while since I looked at this. So it's going to be like that. 5 by 10 with a 1-inch strip of the orange, and then this one has a 1-inch strip of the leaves. Ta-da! Finally, sorry. And then this piece will go on here. Now we will put this one on together because we need to use foam tape if you're going to make hidden journaling. So let's go ahead and put this on first. And again, this is centered 1 inch down. So if you have some kind of ruler, that you know, the T ruler that Close to My Heart has now is really amazing. And I have it. I just didn't grab it out today for some reason. So, okay. So there's my 1 inch from the top, and then my orange butts up to that. And then we're gonna do that wood grain. And it goes to the bottom of that. And then I have that little piece, and you could do that in the, oh, I meant to put that houndstooth. You know, it looks great either way, but I really like it as the houndstooth. Here's how it looks, the difference. one side is leaves, one side is a houndstooth. I like it better. I was trying to use all the colors, you know, all the colors. But it looks great this way too. Whichever way you did it, perfect. So this piece has to be up on foam tape, and I like using the thin foam tape. And you just need to, and you can decide whether you want the light side or the dark side. That's the difference. There's not a huge difference. I use the dark side of it because I just thought it added to the color of the page a little more, and I thought it would show up a little more around my photos. So what you want to do is flip it over, and you want to lay your journaling spot where you'll want it to be. And basically, you just want to make sure you make a foam tape box around it so that it won't, so that it will slide into place. Now, you don't want it to like go into your page and not be able to come out. So I like to put a piece at the end that'll be like a stopper, you know, so it'll slide in and it won't go any farther. Otherwise it would be like, whoops, and you might never see it again. Now the other thing about when you use foam tape just in one spot like this is that the rest of your page it'll get crushed in your book when you add layers to it. And so I know I use ridiculous amounts of foam tape, but the reason is because this way the whole thing will be up in my book and it won't get squashed down. As a matter of fact, I often use more than this. Like I will use a piece here, you know, just for the support, so that when it, you know, when it goes into your book, it's not squished here and erased, you know. So that is how we are attaching this page. And I'm just going to peel all these off. If you have, you know, even the little dots and stuff, like sometimes I use these black dots. If you know, if you have thin dots or something, sometimes just putting one in the blank spaces keeps the book from crushing your page, right? Okay, so this gets centered. Again, this is 2 inches from the top, so I'm putting my ruler at the top, and it's a 2-inch ruler, so I can just go right at the bottom there and right along the edge, and then I'm pushing down on the foam tape to stick the page down. This will end up being our journaling spot, and so you can see where I put mine, like that. Okay, that is our base for page 2 before we decorate, so set that aside. And grab page 3. How are we on time? I'm just curious. I don't even know what time it is. It's almost 3. Oh, it's not terrible. We're good. I was thinking that, gosh, if this takes us like 3 hours, you guys are going to kill me. It's like a long day. Okay, so we have several little pieces here. Basically, you can see the base of this is the mocha brown, and you can choose if you want to use the light or the dark, and I use the dark. You can choose if you'd rather use the stripes or the plaid, and I think the plaid is totally adorable, so of course I'm using the plaid. And we are going to just adhere that to all the way to the right hand side of this page. Now, you know, if you don't do, if you don't want to use the page protectors that I sent you with the 8.5 by 11, it's okay. You don't break my heart by not making an 8.5 by 11 page. You could even put this on top of a 12 by 12 page. It would look great. So, all right. So we now have our photo mat. I am going to go ahead and put mine on, and I'm going to use the light side. You can use light or dark, your choice. And basically, I'm just putting it about an inch from the bottom, and I like to have a little bit of the edge showing. So, about an inch from the bottom, a little bit of edge. And we're going to do shimmer trim and extras in just a little bit. All right, so there's the base for number 3. Set that aside. Number 4. This one's real simple too. Really simple. So you can see how I put that together. I used the toffee as the base, and then I put the leaves on the right side. You could use the houndstooth, it looks really nice. And I'm just putting it all the way to the edge, just like that. Now, this piece was meant to be kind of centered in here. And so we're kind of at the point where, in order to make this really centered and look nice, and do our zip strips and our, we need to decorate this page before we do anything more. So I'm just going to set this aside. Page number 4, when we decorate, we'll put that together. So that's done with that one right now. Okay, page number 5, you should have a base. Now here's the thing about that base. It doesn't matter what color you used for that, because you don't even see it on the front. But it was a savings of paper to use it this way. And you can see what I did. I just glued the top and bottom pieces together. So I am just going to adhere the triangles, one in each corner. So there's one, and then we're going to do the leaves. In the other corner. It's such a rare thing for me to have a paper pack that I absolutely love every single paper in it, every pattern. There's not a single pattern on here that I'm like, ugh, I don't want to use that one. I love them all. So that was one of the reasons why I did this with the flip. So, and then this will go on top, but we're not ready yet because I want to do the shimmer trim first. It's just easier. Okay, we'll set that aside. And the very last page is a much harder page to do. You almost have to wait until everything else, all the decorations are done, because what I did was I took my scraps and I did a 1-inch wood piece, a zip strip, a 1/2-inch piece of Sundance, a zip strip, some glitter, a sticker, a zip strip, and then a 1/2-inch piece of nectarine. And I just put them all down as stripes and then made photo mats. So this piece, we're just gonna do it last, because we're gonna have all these little pieces and parts that we can use when we're all done. Okay, set that one aside. We're ready to decorate. Yay! Any questions yet? The pile of scraps that we have, I know, is rather large. Check this out. Sorry, I got my phone cord in the way. Okay, so the pile of scraps we have is big, and I know that we are going to have this piece of Sundance left over completely. So if you pull your scrap pile out, this one, I don't think we even cut into it. So I'm going to set that aside for now. And then for the bonus page, we are going to use the big mocha piece as a base. And we're going to use the big nectarine piece as a base for our two final 12 by 12 pieces. And so I just want you to set those two aside because I don't want you to accidentally use those for something else. This piece of toffee, shortbread, this little piece right here, we are going to use on a 12 by 12 page, so set it aside. And the rest, I believe, is up for grabs, so you can decide how you want to use this as we go. So I'm going to just set my scrap pile right here, okay? While we decorate, I'll be pulling from it and I'll be pulling from my zips, which are right here. Now, I think we have at least one more zip strip we haven't pulled off. It's this brown one. I'm gonna go ahead and trim the zip strip off of that just so we have them all. I like to have them all in a pile and ready. All right. Let's decorate. Are you ready? Let's pull out page number 1. There's page number 1. And I am just going to, I'm gonna try to set my page next to it just so you can see where we're going. There's really no decoration in this like upper corner, but we are gonna start with some shimmer trim. So let me show you a little trick with shimmer trim. It is annoying to pull shimmer trim off of its backing. And so once you have it, leave a little tail, like a little flag tail. I'm trying to let you see it. It's hard to see. Oh, there, you can kind of see. I left a little piece on the edge because then you have this to grab. Anytime you cut it exact off, you have to try to get it off of the backing. Some people will use washi tape or something to stick to the back and pull, or stick to it and pull to get it loose. I usually just flip it with my finger a few times to loosen it from the back. So that's my shimmer trim tip. It is really annoying to have to start the trim from the start every single time. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay it across here. It's a sticker. So I'm just gonna lay it across and I'm gonna trim it right here where I need it to be. And notice my tail now is like crazy long. So when I do that, I just trim it so I still have a little piece. Okay. So there's the first piece of shimmer trim. Now what you'll notice is I used the tiniest piece of shimmer trim right here. And what I did was I took the shimmer trim and kind of eyeballed how long I wanted it. And I went ahead and I just cut it in half. It's easier to do that on the backing. Like if you cut it and put it back on your backing. Some people will put it stick it onto their trimmer to cut it. I do not do that. I use scissors, and I'm not that precise, but that's okay. I just wanted a little bit, you know, and I'm going to use this other little bit on the next page, so don't throw it away. And then let me make sure all my backing is off. I have a little bit of backing on the other piece here. There. Gosh, you guys, my husband, I talked him into getting a Roomba. I'm going to cut a little diagonal on this, so it's got like a little, and I'm just going to put it right there. Okay, sticker sheet time. Anyway, so I got my Roomba in the mail like 2 or 3 days ago, and I ran it for the first time. I was like, oh my god, that's amazing. How have I lived without this thing? I vacuum almost every day. Okay, so my little shimmer trim piece is about 3 inches long. I made my sticker approximately the same amount. This is not precise science. I'm just gonna cut a piece of my sticker, and again, I'm gonna dovetail that like this. Kind of botched that a little. Let me try again. There we go. Okay. And then this piece goes right under the shimmer trim, like that. And then we have a zip strip. So we're gonna take a little piece of zip strip and just cut a little piece off, and we're gonna dovetail that one as well. And you could put this one on with foam tape if you wanted, or you can just adhere it. I like to use liquid glue on these little pieces because I feel like it's so cumbersome sometimes to get out that big adhesive thing. Okay, there. All right, so there's all those pieces. Now I have 2 message stickers. One message sticker is this big one in the center. It says, "Autumn is proof that change is beautiful." And I just put it right here, and you could pop it up if you wanted to on foam tape. On this one I did not. I don't think, sometimes foam tape really adds dimension, and other times I just think I do it because it looks cool, but it doesn't really matter in the book. The next sticker that I used on here is this "Autumn leaves and pumpkins, please." And I used it at the bottom down here. Now, a message, if you do not like this, if you don't like it, you don't have to make it exactly like that. This, I know all of you who took this class got the stamp of the month, and just fall is in the air. Make your own, you know, you probably have a million stamps. You could do anything right there. You could do a giant leaf, a giant pumpkin, a scarecrow, anything. All right, so there's page 1 that is done, and we're ready to move to page 2. Yeah, Heather, you know, I don't have any carpet in this new house at all, and I don't plan on putting carpet anywhere. I am going to put a few rugs down, but honestly, that Roomba, it does run forever though. I'm like, gosh, is it ever going to stop? Let's start with this little hidden journaling piece. I'm going to pull it out, And basically on your sticker sheet, there's these two, like, they look like file folder tabs. I'm gonna pull them both off. And I'm gonna put one on one side like this. And then I'm gonna flip it over and put the other one like a mirror, you know, of it, so that they're exactly on top of each other. So then the two stickers, one side is red, one side is tan, and it'll go in there. And then I went ahead and used one of the little hearts. There's a lot of little hearts on here. And I just thought that was really cute to put on there. So there's that one. And then the other thing I put down at the bottom, I put this little orange great memories. You could use like any of these messages that you like. I really liked the great memories one, and I just put it down at the bottom because I felt like it needed something orange down there. Now we're gonna mimic the first page by putting more shimmer trim down at the bottom. So I'm doing that the same way. I'm just gonna lay this down just like this, and then I'm gonna trim it here. And get rid of that extra. So now is when we're gonna make this little flag pieces up here at the top. And basically, you have all these little scraps, right? You have all these little 1 inch and 1/2 inch scraps. And so you can go through your scraps. I did, well, I guess I'll do the houndstooth since I made these backwards. So I just cut some pieces off, and I made the first one long, so it's probably, well, how long is that? 3.5 inches. Yep, about 3.5 inches. And then I dovetailed that one, and it's gonna go here. And the way I set this up is it doesn't go all the way to the top. It just goes a little above the pattern, and I'll show you how I did that. So there's that. And then I'm gonna look in my scraps to see what else I've got here. I don't have my scraps set up very well. All my cardstock is on the top. So let me like just move my cardstock scraps out of the way. It's not that I don't want to use cardstock, but I want to see my pattern more right now. So I'm just gonna kind of move some of that out of the way a second. Sorry, I keep dropping stuff. I had to take Moose back home for a while because I was afraid he would drive us all crazy over here. Okay, so then I have a little bit of the wood grain, and that one I'm just gonna make a little bit shorter, but again, I'm gonna dovetail that one, and I'm gonna put it next to that. And then I have this little checker right here, and it is this. So what I did was I just cut it with my scissors to be a little shorter. And I went ahead and kept the rest of that sticker because I wasn't really sure. I am going to use that about right there. And then I want a little tiny scrap of Sundance, because since I used Sundance here and there's a little on the other page, it just felt like it needed that for balance. So if you look in your scraps and try to find just a little piece, and you can cut it on your trimmer, Oh, that's weird. I just heard a big something land on the house. I think it was squirrels. We have huge trees in this backyard. They're like over 80 feet tall, and the squirrels just go nuts in them. So it's a little bit noisier in this house than in my house. I think some of it is the insulation, but anyway, okay. So now I'm just gonna put these pieces down to make like a little border going across. There's that one, and then the wood grain. I overlap just a little, and then I'll do the Sundance. I think I'll do the light side. And then the sticker, I'm just gonna stick on like that. And then I'm gonna use that, remember how we had that little extra piece of shimmer trim that we cut? I'm going to just put that across all 4 pieces like that. Boom. Okay. And then we just have a few stickers and we're done with that page. So I liked how it looked to do this beautiful autumn day, and I wanted it popped up. It really does honestly look better popped up, that one. So that one I'm gonna pop up just a little bit. Again, I use a little more foam in my scrapbooks than I do on cards because I don't like them to get squished looking. So it takes me a while. Anytime I get out that foam tape, you guys are like, oh, good, catch up time. But okay, so I'm just gonna put that there. And then on the sample, I used 2 of the little round, there's 2 little round stickers right there, and I'm gonna put those on, and you can pop them up or not. I do think it looks good popped up, but this one I'm just gonna lay flat, just like that. So there is page 2, great memories. Ta-da! Okay, and yours, if you did it right, I like this one better. But either way, I mean, you can flip the paper any way you want. It all coordinates together, which is amazing. So there's page 1, page 2. Let's do page 3. Get my scraps out of the way again. So page 3 is this one. And the first thing I want to do is get the shimmer trim in place. I probably should have done that first. So what I like to do when I'm doing shimmer trim, you know, I'm so thrifty. I don't like to use it behind photo mats where it's all gonna be hidden. It just feels so wasteful. But it is easier to put it on before you and just cover it up. Like do one big piece rather than a piece here and a piece there like I'm doing. I'm cheap, okay? All right, so there's that. Now, what I did here was I took a piece of shortbread and I cut a 1-inch strip, and then I just cut it down so that I had some journaling spaces. So I'm going to take my shortbread and cut a 1-inch strip. Right? And then basically I just cut 5 pieces at like 2.5 or 2 inches or whatever. I guess it'd be 2.25-ish would get you close. So the idea is to get enough journaling pieces to just put down the side. And you're going to cut, it doesn't even matter how perfect they all are in size, because you're going to put the little circles on there. So here's what I did. I actually just cut them with my scissors to make them all similar. I wasn't too precise about it. And then what I like to do is, let me get my bigger ruler. All right. So if you look at your page and it's an 11-inch page, half of that is 5.5. So at the 5.5-inch mark is where I put my first one. And so I just put them on just like that. And then I eyeballed the rest to be pretty close. So, no, this is, some people are like, oh no, I have to know exactly how many inches apart. I need to know exactly how, that one's really crooked though. Maybe straight would be good though. I'm just not, I don't think that anybody looks at my books and goes, whoa, that's really messed up. So I don't worry too much. If you have a hole punch or a circle punch or anything that you can use to make dots, you can just cut your circles. You could stamp on them. Sorry, that kind of stuff drives me nuts, so I always cut it off. One thing I've noticed in cleaning my stamp room is I am good about not keeping scraps all over the place. It drives me a little crazy to try to use up scraps. I know what happens to me is I fall in love with the next paper pack and I move on. And I'm not good about going back and using those scraps. So I try not to keep them unless they're enough to do a whole nother page or a whole bunch of cards. I'm putting foam tape on the back of my circles because I really like how it looks. And it's not necessary. And especially if you're going to stamp on them later, I would say don't use foam yet. Stamp on them first, get them all ready. And then I'm just putting them down the page, and you can see I'm not very precise. You can use a ruler and make them all nice and straight and perfect if you wish. The plaid paper might help you. Let's see. All right. The rest is stickers. I think all stickers. So, I actually had a lot of fun putting these stickers to use because I thought, gosh, they're all kind of the same type of sticker. I mean, there's a lot of banners and flags and tags and things. So for me, it was kind of fun. I did not want to use this as a banner like this. So I'm just going to peel off this little piece here and put it in the upper corner. And you could use any color you want. And then there's these little plaid ones with like the little flags. And I put that next to it. And then I'm not in love with these little triangle style flags. So I'm gonna put that on. I'm happy that I used them, but I'm just saying they're not, you know, when you're talking about this is my style, this isn't my style, whatever, those aren't my style. Okay, this sticker, I did some doctoring to it, and I went ahead and just cut it a little bit. Like that. And don't stick that down. And then I used it here. And you can kind of make it however long you want it to be, and then just cut the rest off. So this is a weird thing, but close to my heart, every now and then they'll have like these launch events or whatever, and they show these techniques, and during one of our launch events they were showing how to I'm going to use this little heart right here, right there, and then falling in love with this. Can you imagine? Any picture would look good on there. And the last one I have is a little one right here. It is right there. Anyway, so like close to my heart showed stamping on your stickers and inking your stickers and using your stickers, like, you know, changing how they are on a sticker sheet. And it was like a light bulb just went off in my head. I could not believe how much better things were. You mean I don't have to use this humongous, you know, 2.5-inch banner? Oh, I can cut it down. That's right. That's awesome. I mean, it was just like, oh, yeah, I can. All right, there is number 3 done. Okay. So this one is where, instead of trying to piece my shimmer trim all together, I could put a little piece at the top, a little piece in the middle, and a little piece at the bottom. You don't have to use the whole thing, okay? But I am going to on mine, just, you know, time. Basically, I'm just going to put a piece of shimmer trim down this edge of this leaf paper, and I would rather make it just a little bit long and trim it like that than try to get all precise. I'm kind of a speedy scrapper in general, and so those kind of things slow me down a lot if I'm trying to get it all perfect. It drives me a little crazy. Okay, so this little, you might notice there's a little tiny sticker there. On your sticker sheet, you have a couple of shortbread colored borders, and you also have these little stripy borders. To me, they almost look Halloween-y, but I decided to use one and go down the edge of the shimmer trim. Just like that. Okay. I'm a little off. I'm close. All right. Just like that. Ta-da. And now I can take that plaid piece of paper, and I can kind of eyeball center it onto this toffee. I like how it looks kind of centered, and I like how it looks with the toffee that shows all around it. And I just want it to sort of be bordered like that. Ta-da! Now on this one, the orange is harsh, but if you flip it, it gives you a soft color, and I really love how that looks. Whenever I put photo mats on and I'm not sure, like maybe I want to use this for an 8.5 by 11, maybe I have a 4 by 4. If I'm not sure, I will just put like a little tiny piece of adhesive in the center and tack it down. Or you may have seen I use a lot of paper clips just to clip the mats to the page, so when I'm ready to put my photos on, I am ready to roll. So I'm just going to put that there. Look at that, I'm using the edge of the, I'm using this edge as my guide. All right, there's that. This one has a couple of stickers. One is I use this little tab right here, and I put it at the top of the photo. And then on top of the photo, you know, you have all of these little tiny messages at the bottom of your sticker sheet. And I liked this Forever Us. I liked that it, any of these, time together, so grateful, whatever, any of those would have worked. But I loved layering that together. And then, since I used Forever Us, I really liked Tradition. Now, here's the problem with this. I don't have my photos on, but I want it to overlap. So what I'm going to do, you can use your photo tape or you can use your stickers. Some people will take their sticker sheet like this and cut a piece of backing like that and just stick it to the half that goes on top of the photo. Like stick it down and just put this on there until you get your photos in place. So that would go down like that. And then when you put your photo down, this peels off and it sticks, right? I have done that a lot of times. I also like to use this technique where you just kind of use two pieces of foam. You can use it off your roll or whatever, and then you only unstick, you know, one side, and then you're ready for when you put your pictures on, because it's not stuck on this side. So same kind of idea. This page done. Ta-da! Let's do our 6x6s. I'm gonna pull those up. This one is quick, right? So basically, we already put our triangle on, so we're just gonna do our shimmer. Are you guys getting sick of shimmer yet? You know, this shimmer trim is amazing. It's so easy to use, and it had so much. So I'm just going to do that. And then if you flip it on the back, you can kind of trim that excess off. All right, get it off my scissors. The other thing, these non-stick scissors, I gotta tell you, I don't even know why anybody would buy the ones that aren't non-stick, because they're almost impossible to use compared to the non-stick ones. They're so incredible. I love that I can cut through all kinds of sticky stuff, and my scissors don't gum up. Okay, at the top, I am going to use this as pumpkin patch picture. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere this down. Now you can choose light or dark. Maybe I'll do the light side on this one. And I just center it as best I can. And then you just pick, I didn't love the bucket list one. That's one of the stickers I never did use, but you know, you can pick whatever sticker you like. I love that. And then I really wanted a message at the bottom, thankful and blessed. And so in this one, I did the trick where you put the plastic underneath until you get your picture ready. But I could foam tape it. That's cool. So little foam tape there. And if you have the thin foam tape, this is handy for this kind of sticker also, because you can use a piece of wide and the narrow, and then just peel off the part you are gonna stick. So I'm gonna stick the bottom down, and then the top is not stuck. So you can put a picture in there. Ta-da! That one's done. Okay, we're almost done. Can you believe that? This is why I added the bonus pages though. It's because I really wanted to make sure that I used up a lot of my I don't want all these scraps left. I don't want all of this stuff everywhere. I don't want to feel guilty if I throw it away. I want to be able to get rid of it. So I have these scraps, and basically I am just going to cut everything down on, this is a 6-inch, and I want to inch it about a 1/2 inch all around. So if I cut it to 5 in all the pieces that I want to use to 5 inches, I'll be able to build this page, and I'll go from this right side to the left side. So I'm going to cut this to 5 inches. And I'm going to cut all my pieces first because it's just easier. There's one. I have my zip strip that I'm going to cut at 5 inches. Like that. I have a piece of Sundance I want to cut at 5 inches. So first I have to cut it down to by a 1/2 inch. It's about a 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to flip it and cut that at 5. And I use the light side of that. And then these stripy zip strips were the hardest for me to use because they've got a different style than a lot of the rest of the paper. I struggled because it felt more playful or something. I don't know how to describe that, but it was just a little harder. And then we have this zip, 5 inches. And then we have a little piece of shimmer, which I'll cut in a minute. We have a sticker, which I will cut in a minute. I used a second piece of this at 5 inches. And then a piece of the nectarine orange. And so I'm just going to cut that at about a 1/2 inch or so. And cut that at 5. All right. So all I have left is a piece of shimmer trim that I want about 5 inches long. So let me get to that point. I'm going to go ahead and, you know, adhere all the pieces to that point. Now you can't see it on video very well, but this is like a quilt ruler, and it has grid lines, you know, so you can look and see. Hold on, there's a bug. I don't know where that came from. It's that season. But anyway, okay, so you can put this at the 1/2 inch mark, and then just follow it like that. So it's just like any quilting ruler will work that way. Can you tell I'm freaked out by that bug? Ooh, I do not like bugs, you guys. Ugh. We have last year, for some reason, we started getting what I learned is called drain flies, and they're like, I don't know, I've never even seen them before. They look like fruit flies, but I guess they come out of your drains, or they nest in your drains or something. I don't know, but oh my gosh. So my daughter and I have been pouring bleach, vinegar, baking soda, boiling water, like almost every day down our drains because we're so paranoid about these little flies. Okay, and then I have my 5 inch right there. It's not perfect, but it's not bad. And then I have a sticker. You know, I had that sticker strip at the top. I'm just going to pull that off and put that on. I don't sweat the little crooked lines or the, you know, I just don't worry about stuff like that. I just don't think that it shows very much. So I don't tend to worry about that. And then the last piece we have is that nectarine, which I'm going to use the light side. And I want to leave about a 1/2 inch, so I'm going to overlap it just a little. I'm close. Close enough. There you go. So there's my stripey page. Now, as far as photo mounts go, you can use, you know, anything. So you can use shortbread. You can use, I mean, we have scraps galore, right? You could use another 4x4 inch piece and make a large photo mat, or you can do like me where I have a 3x3 and a 2x2. So I'm going to go ahead and cut. I'm going to use my shortbread piece, and I'm just going to cut a couple of little mats out of that. I like that I could use any color I want. So 3x3. One of the ways that I have a photo app that is like Pic Collage or something like that, where you can put multiple photos on one like 4x6 grid, and then you can take it to wherever, Walgreens or wherever, and have it printed, and then you would just cut that 4x6 down, and like you could do 2 3x3s on it, or you know, several 2x3s, or you know, whatever. Okay, so I knew I needed something in this corner. When I looked at this, I liked the idea of using the little words at the bottom. So I put, you know, time together and hello autumn, or so grateful. You could use any of those. I'm going to use so grateful. And then gather around. So this would be really great for a big family photo at Thanksgiving or something like, or you know, something like that. I could put a couple little pictures like that. This I popped up because, of course, I don't want it to be on my photos. This would be a great one to use for that sticker idea, you know, where you use the sticker backing. So here I just use multiple pieces, and then I'm just gonna stick down that one side, and then I have room to put my photos on. And then I love this, it's easy to miss, this little bitty acorn in the corner. I thought that was really cute. I'll tuck that in. And there's a whole bunch of little tiny sunflowers at the bottom. So I put that on. And I used the word autumn. And that one I did foam tape. Just like that. Ta-da! Done. That one's done. Okay, so we have all of our pages done that go into your page protectors, which is awesome. And so you could quit now, but why quit? Let's go ahead and make a few extra little pieces. It's 3:45. We have time to make a couple of pages. So let's pull these out and we'll just do them one at a time. Okay, so this page right here has a base. I'm gonna put that aside a sec. This page right here has a base of mocha. And the mocha color, you could use the dark side or the light side, and I love the richness of that dark side. And I knew that I wanted some photos to go across, so having that scrap of cardstock already there and ready and to go made me so happy. So that's shortbread cardstock. And then what I love about this is just using up scraps of paper, and each one of these is, I believe, 2 inches. Let me just double check with my little trusty ruler. 2 inch by, measure Connie, 9.5. 2 inch by 9.5. So we have, we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strips, 2 inch by 9.5, and we have several scraps that are already 2 inches long. So this is awesome. So I'm just going to start cutting here. Here is this one. Oh my gosh, look at that. It's almost exactly what I need already. Perfect. Ding. So there's a leaf. I want to do the nectarine. 2 by 9.5. Now think about this, how we have trimmed this. I'm using the other side, so it gives me a little softer look, right? Hold on, I gotta see my other scraps. I buried them. I have this big sheet. So I'm gonna cut 2, 9.5. Think about how cool this layout is. I've seen this layout done a lot of different ways and times, on using different papers. And so, you know, that's, I just think that's really awesome. I could do the stripe. The stripe is nice. I could do the herringbone. I think I'll do the herringbone. 9.5. So just look at your scraps, see what you've got. Your scraps may look a little different from mine. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And then the last one I have is paprika. I think I have a 2-inch. Perfect. And let's do a 9.5 of that. This is like a super common, it's a super common layout. Here's what I'm going to do. I am going to cut one piece up the center and do my notches. Okay. Now I want them all to look the same. So I can stack them up and do them all at once. Like, it depends on your scissors, like how good they are. How you may have to do this in 2 batches. Or how strong your hands are. Ta-da! Okay. Okay, now I'm just going to lay these out the way I want them. And I can move them around any way I want. I think I like the light side of that too. You know, if I wanted to change the patterns or whatever, but I like the balance of that. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere all of these. You're probably like, ugh. Now, to get started on this, what I recommend is finding the center of your paper. Now, one thing about this new ruler that is kind of cool is it has this long part that's 14 inches, but it also has this little part that is a magnet on here. I know I've shown you guys this before, but this is a centering magnet, so, or a centering ruler, so you can use it to find the center of your paper, just like that. And you can mark your paper, or you can just mark it at the 6-inch mark right there. So either way, just find not all that precise on a lot of that stuff. If you get pages from me, you may notice that. I don't measure everything. I just like to show you how to do it because some people are a lot more nervous about that than me. Okay, and then I am just leaving about 1/4 of an inch between each. I'd rather have that excess on the edges, like on these edges. Sorry, I was off camera there a little. Alice, I'm so glad you like that shimmer trim. Have you used it before? Because I really, you know, glitter is one of those things that just sort of wigs me out a little. I'm like, I love it, but on a scrapbook page, I'm always so nervous about using it. And then, but the shimmer trim, it doesn't really come loose, you know, I like that. Okay. And then I'm just going to put this across. And there's for my photos, and you can put that anywhere you want, up, high, down, low, whatever. You could add a row of shimmer trim below it, or whatever you want. But what I did was I did this at the bottom. So I had like a 1-inch strip. If you look in your scraps, I have this like 1-inch scrap of toffee, and so all right, that works. And then I have the rest of that one stripey piece, and then a piece of shimmer trim. So I was like, okay, let's use that up, right? And so here I go again. I'm going to cut in the center from the edges, and I'm going to do the same thing with the stripe. So any paper pack that you use, I mean, think about, like, you could use this exact same cutting guide or whatever that we did today, and you could get like the same layout using different paper. You know, Heather, after I put all of the pages together, I think this one was my favorite too. So I really love how that looks, and I really like the shimmer trim thing. So on this one, the way I did the shimmer trim, I went ahead and I took it off of its edge and I cut an angle like that, okay? And then I laid it on here however long you want it. Just like that. And ta-da! So that page, the only thing I added to it was a couple of stickers here at the top. I really like how those, round stickers look. These half stickers like this. They look cool. So I put one down like that, and then there's a whole bunch to pick from. You can do the hearts, you could do these, whatever. I liked the dark one because of the mocha background, and then the orange gingham, and I just used the whole piece of gingham on this one and just had it overlap my pictures a little bit. So again, to make that happen, you may have to use a little piece of the sticker sheet so that you can, until you put your pictures in place. I'm making a mess. Let's see. So I'm just gonna tuck this under the sticker like this until I get my photos in place, and then that won't matter. And then, you know, message wise, I was thinking this I might use for something else. So I might make a title right here. And I really love the Autumn Blessings, Thankful for You. I might use that on this page. So this one, done. And the last one, page-wise, we're going to start with the, I just kind of was using up scraps so you can see what I have. Look at your scraps because this is exactly what I did. I decided I had like a big piece of the leaf so you can put your leaf print down. I put shimmer trim at the top and bottom. I had the gingham, so you can kind of get an idea of what I did. I'm looking at my scraps because my scraps look a little different today than they normally do. But okay, so I have this piece here. And I used this piece here and I just cut it into parts, and then you can put it at the bottom, the top, and the middle. And then I did the same thing with my shimmer trim, and I cut a piece of the mocha 1/2 inch. You could use 2 pieces of mocha, you know, and just do one on each side. But when you do your photo mats, if you do them like I did here and here, it'll be cut, you know, these will be covered up. So that's how I did that. So I have that paprika, and I'm just gonna cut, I'm gonna cut this down to make a couple of 4x6. I like mine to be 6 1/4. Because I like, when I like to just plunk my photos on without having to trim them all the time. I've gotten to the point where I'm actually really fairly decent at taking pictures, and I zoom in a lot, and so I don't always have a lot of my photo to trim. It's not like in the olden days where we had all those pictures that were far away and you could trim off tons of the edge, right? I love this. And this, you know what? I think I'll just, since my leaf size is a little smaller than it was last time, the way I trimmed it, I'm just going to add a little of this down there. I like how that looks. And then I could put a sticker cluster here. So there's my last page. Now, what I did with the rest of the scraps, ta-da! I'll go through each page. Yes, exactly. And I'll show you so that you can take a screenshot. So what I did with my last scraps was I cut some 4x6 pieces, okay? And I just used my scraps to make a border, used my zip strip. This could be for a photograph. On the other side, I had this little piece. I put a border. I put some shimmer trim. This could be for a photo. And these go into those pockets. So, and you'll be able to flip them over and see both sides. And the pockets, you know, you don't have to fill every pocket with cardstock because you will have photos in them. Like, you wouldn't have to do these at all. You could just fill the pockets full of photos, but it does add something to have a little little thing like this. So this is the rest of a zip strip. And this is just that circle right there, journaling sticker. And I just added a bunch of the leftover hearts to it. Warm hearts. And then these are the kinds of things that are perfect for adding some stickles. This is for the 3x4 size. I did that same kind of flag thing where you do, you know, 4 or 5 different flags and then put a word or some shimmer trim or something across it. And this is just a decorative thing. I don't have to put any more pictures. I don't have to do anything else on here. I thought about stamping the background, do like a random stamp, you know, of the leaves, tone on tone. That would be really beautiful in those pockets. And there's so much more. I mean, we have all of these little flags here we can use. Another little banner strip there. So I just started using this stuff up, and I could have done this all day because I want to show you my scraps I have left. Well, you see your pile of scraps, but here you go. So I could just cut all this down into 4x6 or 3x4 and make those pocket pages. And because we had that extra sheet, remember I told you there was one whole sheet we weren't even going to cut into? You could totally make another single page just using this. So, I mean, gosh, there's so many options here. Look, it looks like candy corn, you guys. I love it. So I don't know. I just sit here and I mess around with the parts and pieces that I have left because I don't want to have anything left over. I don't want to have any of this, like, I don't know, like sitting around next fall, because I'm going to already have a new love next fall. We all know it. We're all going to buy the next paper. So look at me. I'm just like messing around now. But I'm done. So I should show you that. So cool, cool, cool. Look at that. And then photo mats. Yes. Wouldn't that be neat for like that would be a great page to put pictures of my front yard. Now that I have 2 front yards side by side, several of the neighbors have been asking me if I'm going to decorate both yards. And I'm like, I think I might. Cool. There's a lot of options here. All right, you guys, let me show you. Wow, you know, I really like that. I may put that together before I stop today. Look at that. Put some shimmer trim on there. Stickles. I'm going to stickle this stuff up because I love it. Okay, let me get out the pages. Here you go, your screenshot. Let me see if I can get it in a screen in a good way, straight. This is a bonus page that we just finished, and I have not put any stickers on it. I could have, we have tons of stickers, see? I could put another strip or 2 on there. So there's one. Here is the other bonus page. I think this one is screaming for stickles. or dots. Wouldn't the, I love these little dots, you guys. The cool thing about, like, these are just the red dots. I like that there's hearts, there's stars, and there's just plain dots. So you can pick what size you like. So, and I think I sent you some. I keep thinking that I did. Little dots. You see me put a lot of dots on things because I do that a lot on the pages that I send you. Okay, and then let's see. We have this page, which is the 8.5 by 11 page. And on that one, you know, we did the tab up here. Gosh, my hand, I look like creepy Halloweeny or something. I have some weird lighting in here. And the tradition. Here is the other 8.5 by 11. Now, you know, the way these are meant to be is they'll slide in so that, you know, you would turn the page right into the page protector. Am I going slow enough, Heather? Get your screenshots. This one, you know, I could put another one of those little messages on there, or do my journaling on here. Here's the little 6 by 6s. And again, these aren't supposed to be side by side. These would be, you know, back to back. And then, you know, you'd turn the page. So they could be totally, completely different topics. Like, if I was just doing a general all over of, you know, fall, I could do the pumpkin patch here, or a Thanksgiving photo. I could do a visit to, I don't know, whatever we do in the fall. We rake leaves. We rake a lot of leaves. We've got, now we have 3 sycamores and a tulip poplar. I'm not kidding when I tell you we have leaves up to our waist. Okay, and then here is, this is page 1, which when I made my first batch of, it's interesting to do classes because you need a paper pack to create with, and then you have to buy one to teach with, and then you end up with like multiples of the same thing. And I had thought about putting something else down here, and so I was peeling the sticker off and I tore it. So I glued it back on. So that was my class one when I was messing around. This is my nicer version one. So, and you know, like I said, platinum or goldenrod stickles is amazing. It looks really cool if you go around the leaves like this. Just use it really flat, like paint. And it's a little hard to see, isn't it? I'll have to hold that up here just a minute. Hold on a minute. I gotta poke a pin in there. My stickles, I store stickles on its side so it doesn't jam up. That's just like my thing. But I like to kind of edge my leaves in stickles. You can tell I like bling. I kind of did this on your fall page too. But let me just show you that closer. See how cool that looks? And then it has like a shimmer to the page. And it's very obvious in person. On camera, okay. And then the last 12 by 12 page, this was the one I made for the class. And then I accidentally flipped it and did the leaves at the top. So you can decide how you want that to look. And since I sent you the page protectors, you know, you can flip through, and this would be like the back, and the page I just stickled would be like the front, and the others would be in the middle. But you can use them any way you want, of course. Okay. Got your pictures? I hope you have your pictures. Thank you guys for joining me, and I really appreciate that you trusted me to buy the stuff, to do the class, without even seeing what I was gonna do to put it all together. That takes a lot of trust, because that was not cheap. So thank you so much for doing that. And I will try to do more classes. It takes a little time to pull together. So yay. I want to see pictures when you're done. I'm sure you guys will tweak it and do your own thing and put pictures on them and put them on here, because I would love to see it. All right. Have a good evening. Thanks, everybody.